now know that the Soviet Union, not content with Dr. Castro's oath of fealty, not content with the destruction of Cuban independence, not content with the extension of Soviet power into the Western Hemisphere, not content with a challenge to the inter-American system and to the United Nations Charter, has decided to transform Cuba into a base for communist aggression, into a base for putting all of the Americas under the nuclear gun, and thereby to intensify the Soviet diplomacy of blackmail in every part of the world.
Fidel Castro and his band of merry warriors, if you want to call them that, took over the country on January the 1st, 1959. At the time, I was not even age 9. My father was a partner in a successful business over in Havana. And right away, Castro deemed that anybody that was in the automobile industry and selling automobiles were not really conducive to what they wanted to do in a socialistic society. So he actually started intervening. That means taking over all of the various different businesses. He would go to a business, basically say, this is no longer yours, you're actually leaving, maybe you can stay as an employee, and that's it. Obviously, with the American blockade later on, there were no more American cars that came over, so the business ceased to exist. My dad at the time, when we came over, was 58 years of age. So he and my mother decided that both my sister and I, my sister Maria is actually 8 years older than I am, they were going to try to send us out of the country. He was hoping that we would all get away at the same time, but unfortunately, we were able to get a visa just for my sister and I. By the way, we came with not a cent in our pocket, not even one dime. We couldn't even make a phone call. We also came with 3 sets of clothing, 3 sets of underwear, 3 pants, 3 shirts, 1 pair of shoes, and that was all we were able to leave the country with, nothing else. So luckily, my parents were able to leave Cuba before the missile crisis of 1962, which is October. They left on one of the very last of what they call the freedom flights. They were able to get a visa that my sister had been able to obtain for them, and they were able to escape. And shortly after that, the flights were stopped, and for years, people and a lot of kids in the same situation as us were not able to reunite with their families. Americans were very welcoming to us. Once we picked up the language and so forth, we adapted quite quickly. The Cuban culture in many ways was very similar to the United States. We were middle class, and so we were able to adapt fairly quickly from that aspect. Schools were different, obviously. I went to a private school before. Here I was now in a public school. So there was a lot of different changes. We were able to adapt fairly well. Things are just totally different. You adapt, and all you need to do is work hard and progress. So obviously, thank God, I own my own business. I have done very, very well. My children are all college educated. So I'm in a free society. What can I say? It's a totally different thing. Well, I think that it's important for people to maybe learn a little bit about what the different immigration or sets of immigrants that have come to this country. We Cubans had our own very, very difficult time, and I think that overall, as a set of immigrants, we have actually done and adapted to American culture very well. You can just see it in the number of politicians that we actually have. We have a series of congressmen people. We have people that have done extremely well financially. So in all realms, both from a cultural point of view, we have assimilated very well and have raised our kids to be good Americans.